Fun fact, I used to think summer was the break. But honestly, now, I think for a lot of people, especially women who are carrying a lot, the high capacity women, the moms, the ones holding everything together, it's the same busy life, just with less routines and more things pulling at you. I've been realizing lately that I don't want to feel like that during summer anymore. I don't want to accidentally create a summer I have to recover from in September, because every single year I think some version of the same thing. This is the summer I'm going to slow down. This is the summer I'm going to be present with my kids. Maybe I'll even get ahead on a few of my own hobbies and routines. But then somehow every year, September shows up and I feel just as depleted as I did in May, heading into summer. And if that sounds familiar to you, then stick with me through this video, because I think a lot of us are building our summers on autopilot, and then we're wondering why they don't feel the way we thought they would. Hi friends, welcome in or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kay. If you're coming back from the last video, I am so sorry about the audio issues and I hope they are fixed in this one. Let me know down in the comments if you still hear anything off. But thank you again for putting up with me as I am a new YouTuber and figuring this out. But if you are new here, I talk about intentional living in this little corner of the internet. I'm a habit and accountability coach who wants to unlearn hustle culture, and I want to teach you how to do that too. We talk about building a life that bends, that doesn't break when real life happens, because real life always happens. We talk about realistic spending, not being a minimalist, but being intentional about what we bring into our homes. We talk about realistic routines. If that sounds like your kind of space, I am so glad you're here. Let's get into summer. So I think summer gets romanticized a lot. We think of it as slower. We think of the summer movies with the montages of people on the beach. We think of being more present, of having more freedom, of going more places. We think of more fun and sunshine and memory making. And I'm not saying all those things can't be true, but I do think for a lot of us, especially for those of us who are already carrying a lot mentally and emotionally, summer shows up when we're already tired. We're already behind. We are already stretched too thin. We're already hoping that the season actually fixes the pace of life we've been living at, but we treat it like a magical band-aid. Summer is here and finally everything can slow down. But instead of feeling like an exhale, summer starts to feel like less structure. There's more pressure to make it magical, more pressure to say yes to things. There's more chances to say yes to things. There's more disruption to the routines that we're holding everything together. And I think that high capacity people are especially prone to this because we are capable. We can carry a lot. We already do. We make a lot happen. We make magic out of the mundane. But I think if we're living at this depleted capacity that we've been at for so long, we mistake it for normal. So we hit summer running, we're already a little bit on empty, and then we wonder why it feels so heavy. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially the last 4 or 5 days where we've been in a heat wave up here, and I spent every day outside with my kids. This year, I didn't want a summer that looks fun on paper, but feels exhausting to live. So I have already started implementing steps to make it more intentional. I don't want every day to be packed. I don't want every open space filled just because the weather is nice and we can go somewhere. And I don't want to confuse memory making with making plans. Even good things can still become too much. That part has felt really important for me to internalize and practice in my real life because I love so many of the good things. I love going to my parents' pool. I love being invited to my mother-in-law's beach. I love going to the zoo. I love going to the aquarium. I love the play groups that my daughter has so much fun at. I like these outings that feel like memory making with my kids. But I also know myself. And I know my son, who is very introverted, just like me. And if every day becomes a thing, a place, an outing, a plan, then pretty quickly It stops feeling like living a life I'm enjoying, and it feels like another season that I'm having to manage. What I want more of this year is actually calm. I want room for sprinkler days in my own backyard, for books and puzzles in the air conditioning when it gets too hot or when the kids need to unwind. I want room for slow mornings that don't rush me out the door, fully packed for a beach or pool or zoo outing. I want this backyard time where we're laying in the grass searching for four-leaf clovers like we were on Sunday for probably 25 minutes. I don't want to have to rush out the door every single day this summer. I don't want to feel like just because it's sunny outside, we have to go attend an event or host an event or have people over. I've had so much sweet time with my kids the last couple of days. Yes, we have seen others. We went to a play date yesterday, but we also had slow, calm, peaceful days at home in our own backyard. I want more space like that for us to just be us. My kids set up an old broken house frame and they pointed the sprinkler through it and called it a car wash. They rode their bikes through and got sprayed by the hose, and their giggles just echoed across the backyard because they had the time to just play and have fun without us having to get ready to go somewhere. And honestly, sometimes this can feel so simple and so radical at the same time in this world that promotes hustle culture. We act like every season has to be maximized, and I'm here to say I don't think it does. What I've learned and what I'm implementing and what I want to teach you is that an intentional summer does not happen by accident. It doesn't show up because the calendar says it's June. It takes deciding on purpose what the summer will hold for you. Not what fits, not what everyone else is doing, but what can your season support? What do you want it to feel like? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? And what do you want to protect before the season fills in? Because I've learned that if I don't decide, the season will fill it in for me. And that is how I think a lot of us end up in September wondering where summer has gone. And definitely for me, that means I'm thinking of summer in a different way. I'm thinking about my time differently. I'm thinking about what my actual capacity is for my son and I and our recharge time needed for our extroversion batteries. And I'm thinking about what consistency truly looks like when life is looser and more free-flowing. But I don't want to turn this video into a full class because that practical side is really its own conversation. So if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, but how do I actually do that? How do I protect my capacity, my consistency, and my calendar? Well, this is exactly what I'm going to be going into on May 27th. If you're watching this in present time, I'm going deeper into this, hosting a free webinar called Summer Reclaimed, and I would love to have you join me there. I'll leave the link in the description. If you're watching this from the future, there probably will be an evergreen or replay version around, so still follow whatever link is in the description. But for now, the question that I keep coming back to, and that might help you live a more intentional summer, is what do I want September to feel like? Maybe that sounds a little funny because I'm asking what September should feel like when I'm talking about what should the summer feel like. But I think knowing how we want to enter fall will help us decide how much we can fit in our summer. Do I want to drag myself into September feeling exhausted and behind, already needing a reset from the very season that was supposed to be that for me? Or do I want to enter September feeling like summer gave me something, a boost, a rest, a little more energy, not because it was perfect, not because every day was magical, and not because I got everything right all the time, because we're on this learning journey together, but because I did choose things more intentionally. I built in more space, more margin, more calm and care for what I'm doing with my kids every day. I built in more room to breathe. I built in more room to enjoy the life we're living and not just race through it. That's what I want this summer to be for me and for you. Because if you're here, you care about living an intentional life. You care about having a softer season. And softer doesn't mean empty or boring. It just means more intentional, more livable, and more supportive of the true goals you have for your life. I want a summer I do not have to recover from. How about you? So if you're in a season where you are craving a little bit less pressure and a little more breathing room, I hope this video reminds you that you can create a life that you live on purpose. You don't have to fill every open space. You do not have to make every day extra special to make it meaningful. The other day, we found a river snail, and then we spent time sitting and watching the snail eat algae. Do you know how slow a snail walks? It was delightful to sit with my kids and slow down to the pace of a snail. You don't have to earn rest by running yourself completely into the ground. You can just slow down right where you are with what you have. If this video resonates with you, I would love to hear in the comments one way you're going to slow down your summer this year. And if this is your type of conversation, feel free to hit like and subscribe and stick around for more, because this is exactly what we talk about here. And once again, you can join my free webinar on May 27th or catch the replay if you sign up for it, where I am going to go deep into how exactly to implement this for your summer coming up, how to check your calendar, check your capacity, and help you create little tiny routines that keep you consistent so you don't hit September and the holiday season thinking summer just flew by and you haven't gotten anything done. I hope to see you there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.